Yeah, Ilse has joined the university and studied together with Rudolf Hess. And in 21, she joined the NSDAP. The NSDAP was banned after the putsch of the coup d'etat. Hitler tried with Ludendorff in 23, and went to jail in 24, and the part was banned until 25. So until 25, it it had to work in another under another name, but in 25 the part was again on stage, and Ilse has joined December 1 immediately. The part again rejoined, we can say, and she was drawn to Rudolf Hess. She was really drawn to him, who studied, and he was on the same university. Even at that time, fellow students already regarded the student Rudolf Hess as a really eccentric loner because of his striking appearance. So that's the first thing. He had a very, yeah, interesting looking, striking appearance, but he was also a little bit introverted, a quite strange kind of guy. Hess did not wish to enter into a relationship, even though Ilse quite clearly offered herself to him. For years, he ignored her and avoided all sorts of intimacy because, we cannot know this for 100%. Because of this, Rudolf Hess was often considered a homosexual the inside the party, someone uninterested to women. Hitler was his great love, once Hess allegedly declared in 1924 while imprisoned in Landsberg. He said, "I love him." Yeah, and there were a lot of speculations. Is this a real love or is this a platonic? We don't know to this day. But one is very clear, and every historian will say the same, that Hitler was not a homosexual. There we have no evidence for this. We have also no evidence for in theoretical homosexuality of Rudolf Hess. This is all speculation. Ilse entered into a platonic relationship with him for 7 years. So she said, okay, I can wait for him. Their bond was purely intellectual. Yeah, for some women, this is enough, with no physical contact whatsoever. They both shared a fanatical faith in Adolf Hitler and his movement, so they had something in common. And that's for a relationship a lot. Yeah, to have in common the love to Adolf Hitler is maybe not the best base, but okay. Let me add a brief remark here. It was a strange kind of love affair. Yeah, and in essence, maybe everything was what they had together, what they shared together, was the adoration of Adolf Hitler. Yeah, like person himself. In fact, it was Hitler who literally ordered later Rudolf Hess to marry Ilse, and he himself initiated the marriage, which took place on December 20 in 1927 in Munich. One more note on this: Hitler often encouraged women in his circle that when he saw that the woman is interested in a man, that she should marry, she should not wait. This applied even to his secretary Traudl Junge, who later directly asked Hitler why he urged everyone around him to marry, but he himself never did. Yeah, Hitler became the godfather of their own only child, Wolf Rüdiger Hess, who was born on November 18, 1937, and received his godfather's nickname Wolf because Wolf was the nickname of Adolf Hitler. Adolf Wolf is like a shortened Adolf, like when you shorten Adolf, it's Wolf. Yes, so he get the name after Adolf Hitler. And we can also say he was deeply influenced by his parents also after World War II, especially his mother, and remained loyal to them until his death. Until his death, we can say. Later, Wolf Rüdiger Hess became involved in the post-war cleansing movement of Nazi history. He worked on rehabilitating his father's reputation, sought lawyers, published books, appeared on German television, wrote thousands of pages of family correspondence, organized demonstrations and so on, and founded support organization, raised money foundation and so on. All these activities contributed to strengthening the conviction within right-wing circles that not everything about the Third Reich was bad. That's an old argumentation. Yeah, there were also some good guys there, old. Yeah, and there had been some good Nazis. And the most famous example of this is, of course, Rudolf Hess, because he went to England to make peace and so on, and therefore they call him the angel of peace, or like El Ángel de la Paz in Spanish. Through her actions, Ilse Hess was undoubtedly an activist in her own right. Also she, from beginning, when joined the Nazi Party, she was really an activist from the streets. While Hitler and Hess were imprisoned in Landsberg in 1924, Ilse, who lived in Munich, collected her husband's handwritten manuscripts. Hitler dictated the book Mein Kampf to Hess in prison. This is the story always shared. Ilse gathered the handwritten material and cycled 60 kilometers each way to Munich to Landsberg, and Landsberg back to Munich. There at home, she typed the handwriting on her Erika typewriter. Yeah, an really enormous distance, we can say. Her vitality and stubborn combativeness were evident even in post-war interviews. Some of them are on YouTube also to see. She spoke also good English. Through her activism, she contributed significantly to the publication of Mein Kampf in the Landsberg time. She was also an open anti-Semite, as she proudly declared. We are anti-Semites and we are consistent. We make no exceptions. Yeah, that is a thing she declared, and this was also published in the newspapers in the 20s. Ilse Hess was a convinced National Socialist. Yes, we can say this. In this, she matched perfectly with her husband, Rudolf Hess, whom Hitler himself regarded as one of his few truly fanatical, idealistic supporters. That's really, Rudolf Hess was one really exceptional fanatic about this. There were opportunists who participated for personal gain, such as, we know Hermann Göring. And also Albert Speer said afterward that I only joined the movement because I wanted to have a good job. And there were the fanatical ideological idealists. At the top of the list, there were Ilse and Rudolf Hess. Rudolf Hess behaved almost like an introverted autistic person throughout his life, with bizarre habits, such as hiding little papers, hoarding small food supplies, and concealing them. Practices he continued even while serving his life sentence in Spandau prison in Berlin, where he was not released until his death. His behavior bordered on psychiatric pathology. He would seal small food packages, label them for research purposes, and sign his name on every page and item. Such things are documented. Psychiatrists later described other peculiar manifestation of his behavior observed at Spandau. So there were also a lot of other such really bizarre behavior. But there was another, also darker side of the story. The Hess couple benefited greatly from their close relationship with Hitler. That's also true, despite their activist beginnings, idealistic during in the 1930s. Later, when they came to power in 1933, they lived luxuriously in their Munich villa, complete with a swimming pool and with own tennis courts. However, when Hitler came to power and competition for influence within the Nazi hierarchy intensified, Hess gradually lost his authority and influence. Yeah, we know Bormann came up. By the late 1930s, Hess was only nominally a leader of the party, deeply immersed in occultism. Yeah, that was his problem, and had lost control over his subordinates. His official deputy, Martin Bormann, had become, in this time, more powerful than he. He was only the boss on paper. And when Hess embarked on his peace flight to England or Scotland in May 1941, before the Operation Barbarossa, just before the invasion of the Soviet Union, hoping to prevent a two-front war, that was the reason he stated, and to protect the Führer he loved so much. And after that, he disappeared from the political scene forever, we can say. Although Hitler regarded Hess as a traitor after the peace flight, officially, he said he was a sick man, and so on, like he was not normal, he had psychological problems and so on. But Hitler personally placed Ilse Hess and their son under his protection, and Heinrich Himmler, the head of the SS, also looked after them. In 1943, Ilse moved to her estate in the countryside after her Munich villa was bombed. There, a bizarre, grotesque story also unfolded. On her property, she established a miniature concentration camp that held only a single prisoner, a Jehovah's Witness, who became a kind of household slave to Ilse Hess. She claimed afterward that she treated him well and even allowed him to sleep inside the house. Others had similar private concentration camps, for example, Lina Heydrich, the wife of Reinhard Heydrich, the butcher of Prague. She maintained 150 prisoners from the Theresienstadt ghetto and the Flossenburg camp under an inhuman condition on her estate at Panenske Brzezany. And by comparison, we can say Ilse Hess was quite modest. She had only one prisoner. Yeah, she remained loyal to Hitler and his ideology until her death, and after the war, she supported the organization Stille Hilfe, Silent Help, founded to aid former Nazis. She was one of the stars of this association, often seen in the circle of Gudrun Burwitz, the daughter of Heinrich Himmler. Yeah, she was called the Nazi princess, the Gudrun Burwitz. And Gudrun Burwitz worked also for the West German Federal Intelligence Service, BND, because after World War II, a lot of former Wehrmacht generals or also people from the Nazi intelligence service were also used by the intelligence service of the West German state and also by the American secret services. In 1952, after the war, she published her book England, Nürnberg, Spandau, A Destiny in Letters, I Said. England, Nürnberg, Spandau, ein Schicksal in Briefen. There she states, there she published all the letters that she wrote with Rudolf Hess in detail. And yes, she draw also parallel with her husband's fate and Saint-Exupéry's tragic disappearance in the book. Saint-Exupéry is the author of The Little Prince. That story, because both suffered from depression. That is the reason. Yeah, she was called the Beharrliche, the persistent one, because she was loyal and